School of Economics for BSc in Public Finance, where he later graduated with a distinction. This is also where many say that he learned his economic skills that then stabilized the country during the time when he was the leader, and many people would feel the ease in their pockets. And the citizens were saying at that time there was a bit of pressure, was not as high as it is right now. You can still see the military protocols there. They've just moved into formation, into a position. And Brigadier, let me bring you back on this before I go back on the memory lane. What is happening now? We can see them moving into formation, and we can see the combination, of course, the red, and then there's the blue and the white. Brigadier.
Yes, Trevor, what we are seeing now is actually the body arriving at State House, and what you have on the sides is the team of pallbearers, the colonels, who will always accompany the body wherever it is, and then be able to transfer the body for a short while into State House and then back onto the gun carriages. So essentially that is actually the complete team of the pallbearers. Yeah. But at any one time, there's about maybe 8 of them who will carry the actual body itself, the rest being just on standby to assist if need be.
Okay.
So moving all the way slowly again with full honors into State House.
Yeah. It is an amazing display of color and an amazing display of discipline as well, and formations and protocols of the military, just giving the head of state a send-off. They're calling the state funeral. Back to the history of this all. In 1958, President Mwai Kibaki went to Makerere University as an assistant lecturer in the economic department. And in 1960, that's when he joined active politics. After ditching his job at the Makerere, he became an executive officer of Kenya African National Union, that's KANU, with his background in academia. He was instrumental in drafting Kenya's independence constitution. And Vicky, this is where now, in 1960, that's where now
Kibaki found love.
Exactly. It's interesting.
Yes, he did. And he married Lucy Muthoni, daughter of a church minister, who was a secondary school teacher, with whom they had 4 children. She is now late. And in 1963, when Kenya gained independence, he was elected as MP for Donholm constituency, later called Bahati, and now Makadara in Nairobi. The same year, he was appointed the permanent secretary for Treasury. And here we see the body is just about to be moved from the hearse, as they have a small ceremony to honor the late. Let's bring in Brigadier here to walk us through this process.
Yes, the body has arrived now finally at State House and ready to be moved into State House. We'll see the pallbearers now to lift the body onto the small carriage. Then it will go through a small guard of honor, a guard in line, which will be on both sides, and the body will then go through, being carried by the pallbearers, into a State House, where we'll have the short church service, prayers and all that, and then after that be ready to transfer the body back onto the long-awaited gun carriage all the way now to Nyayo Stadium. As I said, you can see now the team of pallbearers taking their position, ready to lift the body onto the small carriage and then take it all the way through the small parade. The band is in place also. You can see that the Kenya Defence Forces band ready to play the tunes as and when required. So let's watch so closely as the body is being now moved into actual State House building.
I also noticed during that time there have been at least 3 salutes now. The moment the casket, the body, the hearse was opened, there was a salute. The moment they moved in, there was a salute. Is there a protocol for all that, or is it something that they do as long as there's any movement?
Yes, anytime the team will be handling the body, they will salute. Anytime they leave the body, they'll also salute in honor. But of course, anybody else who will be along the way as the body is being transported in uniform will also salute at that time. Yeah.
Before we get back into the history that Vicky has there, we were talking earlier on with John on the issue of morale. This is not so much seen in the military. How are they handling it there? Is it that you have your own, the disciplined forces have their own style of doing this? We're talking about the issue of morale and remuneration in terms of service to the nation.
One of the most important elements of importance in the military is the issue of morale. And all commanders have responsibility to ensure that those under them have the highest standards of morale, both in terms of care, in terms of enumeration, in terms of health, extending all the way to concerns for the family, that wherever they are, they're all okay. So you find that even when you have soldiers going to theater, like Somalia now, we take very good concern about families who are back in camp to ensure that they're well taken care of, and morale is always at its highest, never go down at any moment.
Yeah. And there we have a beautiful shot of the military formation, the Army in red, the Air Force in blue, the Navy in white. And it's a beautiful picture also of service, which is what Kibaki emulated, as we've been talking about earlier. He was about his work and what it meant for the people and what it meant for the country. And so here we are at a State House, which served as his home for 10 years while he was the president of this great republic from 2003 to 2013, when he, of course, gave over to his successor, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is now going to receive his body as we give off to this final journey.
Yeah. And Brigadier, as they move through, we can see the formation, the lineup there. Is that the point where there's going to be a presentation of arms, or at that point do they stay still? Like
Very good, Trevor. The salute by those soldiers online is actually present arms. While the rest who have no arms will salute by hand, their salute is the present arms, which they'll do just now as the body will be passing with honors through that guard. You can see on both sides, they are lined up on both sides, being the guard in line.
Okay. Those are live shots from State House as we speak now. The body has just arrived there. It will be ushered in and then moved out through the gun carriage. There's a 6-kilometer walk, like we mentioned earlier on, to Nyayo National Stadium, where we also have our teams on standby, waiting to receive the body of the late President Mwai Kibaki. Thousands of them have already arrived there. Heads of state are also expected there. At his home in Othaya, everything is ready for the state funeral. We know in Tanzania, they're joining Kenya's mourn. President Samia Suluhu has declared a 2-day state of mourning where flags will fly at half-mast within Tanzania and also in all the diplomatic stations as well, as they join Kenya in bidding farewell to the third head of state, Emilio Mwai Kibaki, in a state funeral that is full of all the color and all the military protocols. Like you can see them lined up there. We were told earlier on it's the Army in red, and then there's the Air Force in white, and then we have the Navy. The Navy is in white, and then the Air Force is in blue. That's the way they are ranked there, and most of them are colonels. We're waiting now for the presentation of arms, which is a salute to their commander-in-chief as soon as that procession happens, heading into State House, just for a short ceremony, and then there'll be a movement. The movement has begun already. The pallbearers are in place. They're in the ranks of colonels and above, as the brigadier was mentioning to us earlier on. Remember, this is a mix of civilian and military protocols, but it is all the state funeral where they're the ones who are taking precedence, and the family, of course, is right behind there for the final rites of the head of state before we head out to Nyayo National Stadium. You had a history of how this whole started and where we are right now.
Yes, absolutely. In 1969, he was promoted to the Minister of Commerce and Industry in the government of the founding president, Jomo Kenyatta, before being moved to the Ministry of Finance in the same capacity where he served until 1982. And in 1974, he was elected MP for Othaya constituency after evading a stiff competition in Donholm. The same year, Time magazine rated him among the top 100 people in the world.